Round number 5 of the season begins tonight, and it's Tier 2's return to Belgium, Spa. Quite a good racetrack when it comes to racing here in RPL. Sometimes we've not got to race it, though, because of previous races canceled. One of the last times that we were here back a few seasons ago, we had poor attendance. Looks like it's the same tonight, but you know what that means? It allows people to take advantage a little bit better. And maybe we can see some underdogs rise to the top with some of our main drivers missing. Some of our main drivers also here needing good finishes. That's exactly what happens. But for those drivers who are here, quite a few of them actually competed in the preseason event here at Spa. So they have lots of knowledge of this wonderful circuit. And the man who won preseason, JTK, I'm sure he would love to extend his championship lead, especially on a night where John is not here. He has wheel problems. He's having to miss the event tonight, which is very unfortunate for him because we're going to see a really good championship battle with him versus JTK. Dill JG being third in the background. He's also missing. He had to attend something tonight. So JTK's night to end up extending the championship lead to go into the second half of the season going quite well. Might start tonight and might start quite well, to say the least. We will invite the co-commentator for tonight, George Alp-Williams, yesterday's Tier 3 winner, in just a bit of a moment. I was going to say with George, he won Tier 3 yesterday on track limit penalties, and we have seen track limit penalties decide this race before, whether it be an F1 or Tier 2 or even the steward's office as well decide this event. Lots of things will come into interest for tonight. But yeah, I'm your commentator, Ryan Searles. Alongside me in about a minute or two, once we get things going, will be George Alp-Williams. Wanted to give him some time to sort out everything for the lobby. He is the tier coordinator, as you may know. But speaking of tier coordinators, a previous tier coordinator, Hunted LAX, he has moved up to tier 1 after his win, almost said yesterday, last week. His race in Spain was filled with chaos. He got damage on the last few laps and still prevailed to take victory in Spain over JTK. And although JTK may have lost 7 points, he still gained points on John. So that's what matters, especially for a night like tonight, where he's got a 14-point lead, 12-point lead, something like that. And he has his championship rival missing. It will be super big, especially considering last season, JTK in the second half of the season really ended up missing out on anything that JNT may have made a mistake on, and he just couldn't do it. This season, he's got the championship lead. He's got the chance to do just that. It shall be interesting to see how that all goes. For the constructors' sake as well, Ferrari and McLaren are super close. 1 point between them. Red Bull also back behind in third, and it's going to be super big when they Kentucky back next week. You got Blue Gaggi, who is currently still technically the full-time Red Bull driver, not here. He's also on vacation, as the Europeans would call it, holiday. Kentucky's not here because she's having to serve 2 races of that ban still of the resolving contract deal. There's a lot to go into tonight's event that will be interesting to watch, no doubt about it. And next week in Silverstone, a lot of those drivers who are not here will be coming back. So lots of headlines, lots of things to be happy about. Let's get this event going in just a moment. I'm going to chuck Blonde an invite first because I don't know if he can join off anybody. I don't know if he can. Don't think it's letting him. I would go to recent players, but don't think it's showing him. All right. Stream should be just fine now. It was on the pause menu for a second. That is my apologies. I wonder why I'm having such a big stream delay. Let me just try to fix that quickly. All right, that is fixed. Good. Yep. So I will invite George here and get him in. Should be 16 with Blonde coming in. Leon Miller is also in tonight. He's driving for Kicksauber. He's in the worst car. Yeah, lots of good things to look forward to in tonight's event. Last time we were here at Spa, it was was Alex Baer taking his only RPL win after he appealed a 3-second penalty he got unfairly, beating Grandpa. And this was a race in the championship that was big, and welcome along, George. You would know about that race quite a bit because that race was a big make-or-break race in the Tier 2 title race 3 seasons ago.
My audio. Yes, sorry, what were you talking about? I didn't hear the start of that sentence.
Well, obviously JTK, I was just going to say with him, he's got the championship lead, we know that, but his championship rivals, John and Dill JG, are missing this event tonight. And yeah, I was just speaking about how last time we were here back in season 10, I believe it was, when Alex Baer won that event.
Oh yeah, I remember that, yeah.
It was big for the championship with you guys, and this is going to be big for the championship for JTK to capitalize once again.
Yeah, quite. It's a bit of an awkward track, to be fair. It's a lot of people try to run higher wings because there's obviously a lot of corners in the track, and you can get quite easily it's very setup based. So, like, you see a lot of people run lower wings, a lot of people run higher wings. So I think that'll be a big factor today. Obviously qualifying as well, because I think it's gonna be a bit of a DRS train as well as. But yeah, no, it's definitely an important race. It's a really hard race as well. It's quite a hard track to take at, unless you've got DRS. Like, there's only one real or two overtaking points. Apart from that, you know, it's just back and forth DRSing. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very tactical race today.
Yeah, and there are some circuit changes as well. With that being said, I was going to say how some corners have opened up, some corners curbing has changed. Even we had a patch come into the game just a few days ago, which is quite annoying how it keeps changing, but I think it was nice for both of us yesterday getting the finishes we did in Tier 3. It seems like we did good with that, but let's see if these drivers can do good with that. It's going to be something to change for them. The big thing changing from that patch is the curbs. The curbs have changed here already as it is, especially updated more so to how in real life is. I think at Rouge and Radion you can run more side by side than you could in years prior on the F1 games, and real life as well, I would say too, but more so in the game for tonight's case, which will be interesting to see who will end up going side by side, wheel to wheel at a Rouge, making it work. How will it all happen? How will it all unfold? That's going to be the question that arises in about a few minutes' time here as we get going.
Oh, I need to start the lobby. I forgot.
Happens. But we are going. Had 16 check in, 15 in here. Don't know who the one is that is missing. Is Kipu in here? He should be. It's the one that's not in here. Maybe he backed out last moment. He was the one that is on check-in. It's not in here. Oh, and Red Fire, yeah. So 17 it would be then. Oh, Red Fire just got in here. So good to see Red Fire. He'll have to rush to get in his car. He's got 15 seconds to do so. He's done just that. George, for our sake of headlines, I feel like there's a few things we could go over, and I want to see from your eyes what kind of opens them the most of these headlines. We've got SSR William, who's now a Merc Academy reserve. He was a part of Red Bull full-time in the VCARB. Mentaki returns next week for Red Bull, and I think for the constructors' case, exactly what they need. That'll be for the second half of the season. JTK will get a teammate instead of just the VCARBs kind of helping them out, especially if John or Dill JG finds something when he doesn't. That'll be interesting. Hunted moving up to McLaren. We covered that already, but just going to remind people, for those of you just joining us, Blonde is Williams full-time. He's in the Mercedes for tonight, since other drivers are missing. C. Davies, Aston full-time. Patrick, after tonight's event, is dropping to a reserve and going to the Merc Academy. Vodka on debut. I believe he's Alpine full-time. And bigger news inside the TP range, JNT forced to step down as team principal, giving it to Tadpole for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, a lot of big moves. A lot's happened in a week.
What sparks your eye the most?
Probably has to be the Ferrari team principal, JTK, or JNT even, being asked to step down. He was there for quite a while, but I think you'll know just as well as me that it got to the point where there was just too many factors we couldn't ignore without getting too political, I think. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's a bit of a shame that his stint as TP had to end in such a way because he was pretty good for the most part. But yeah, we got Tadpole act as acting team principal until the end of the season, and then it will be inherited then by Invade for the future.
Rest to Invade. He definitely deserves that. I would say he's done quite a job for, well, I would say doing what he's done with F2 for TP and even coming in originally as Academy Assistant. Speaking of Academy Assistant, you said JNT dropped down as team principal. He is now Academy Assistant. He's still got some involvement, but not as much as he did prior. Wavy Knife, by the way, retiring from the session. Just want to remind people, him and Ardell are two drivers who have qualifying bans ahead of tonight. That was the only two things I didn't write down, but it happens. That's okay. It is what it is. So, cars on track. I think we're happy to see that. But before we talk about the cars on track, I just want to mention about Tier 3 yesterday. Seems like we're about to get a record amount of clips submitted in one weekend. It happens with you in it, George, whether it's Tier 2 Texas or Tier 3 Hungary where you won yesterday. You want to go over that one for a minute? Congrats on the win, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a shame really because I was speaking to Invade about it that me and him have been sort of close rivals the entire season. We've always kept it clean and fair. Never had any, apart from one incident in Jeddah, we've never had really any serious contact or issues. Same with Freddie as well. Last night, all of us three were having very, very clean, fair back and forth battles. And then the other Ferrari of Erwin, he sort of ruined his own race at the start, giving himself wing damage, and then he's openly admitted several times that he then took it upon himself to slow everyone else up and just be an all-round terrorist and ruin it for everyone else, or try his best to ruin it for everyone else. And yeah, there's one thing doing academy games, which is obviously allowed, and if anything, encouraged, because it's absolutely what academies are for, basically. But he
helped me the last 2 laps.
But he just took it to a whole new level and was just dirty, and on a couple of occasions almost caused a few quite big crashes. So yeah, I think it was a bit of a dampener on a good race. I mean, for spectating wise, I think it was good because Tier 3's been a little bit boring. I wasn't just boring, but it's been a little bit sort of binary. The first few rounds. So it was definitely nice for a spectator boat to see someone mixing up a little bit. Yeah, I think he definitely took it a little bit, over the line.
Yeah, and you know what I'd also say about it too, in a joking matter, you've reported the Ferrari Academy a lot. I'm kind of wondering when my reports are coming in at this point, because, I mean, I didn't do anything the whole race, but I did have some aggressive moments where it got almost over the line, and I'm glad it didn't. To be fair to Owen, I do have to give him some credit, because after all, he is very loyal to his academy. Does he have to clean it up, though? Yeah, he does. I hate to say it, but it is true. He does have to clean it up in Tier 3 a little bit. Because if he were to keep it clean and still be as aggressive as he is, though, I think it'd really provide a really good race with, well, it was just both Ferraris versus you, but Ferrari versus both Red Bulls now with Lando Norris being your teammate. He was one who kind of got messed up by the lap car of the Williams yesterday. He went 2-3 laps down and was ghosting inside a lot of cars, and I asked everybody who was in the party, part of the Ferrari Academy except for Valkyrie yesterday, and with where I was at, how did you get affected by the Williams? And the answer by all of them was yes. Everyone got affected at one point by the Williams, even getting Lando a track limit warning, myself a track limit warning from it. And I know it's a bit of an excuse for getting a track limit warning inside of a ghosted car, but as you may know, George, it can be a bit distracting at times.
Yeah,
and, you just got to prevail through it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's distracting. It's something obviously we're in the middle of discussing as admins, whether we should force them to get out of the way as it is in real life. However, there is the argument, there is ghosting as well. But then for saying, even if they are ghosting, it's still very distracting. It could cost me a couple of tenths in that sort of middle sector. But no, yeah, for certain it is something to be discussed a bit further.
I'm still wondering when my reporting is coming. I mean, I'm kind of scared now with how many Ferrari Academy clips you've submitted, to be honest. I'm wondering. I mean, I do stream, so that would be perfect for you, but no. I'm glad that you and I both have not really had anything submitted against us too much, because although I would say it felt like a clean race, although there's been 34 clips, it's good to see in those kind of races who can keep it clean versus who may not be able to keep it clean. Speaking of cars on track like we did earlier, we have cars crossing the line, and Vodka in his debut is fastest over Red Fire Tiger, and Jake Bandy, the full-time Tier 3 driver, getting a chance in McLaren tonight. You remember him from Imola, I'm sure, George, where he was able to take pole that race. He was quite fast in the one-lap pace, but his biggest issue was keeping it within track limits and keeping it in a straight direction.
I do remember, yeah, he was absolutely rapid in qualifying and then was nowhere in the race. It's very interesting to see the contrast. I wonder if you'll show any improvements today.
Well, Ardell is wondering, can you give Slipstream if you have a qualifying ban?
No,
George?
he cannot.
Alright, so that answers Ardell's question, since he has a qualifying ban, the only one yet to serve it in this lobby. Kipu, by the way, I mentioned him being late. He is finally here. I think he did mention to a few of us prior, maybe not you, probably should have mentioned it to you, maybe, I'm not sure, how he was going to be late because of working a little bit late. So it's good to finally see him here, our 17th driver. Polo got on the lap as well. He had a, well, I would say questionable race last week for Ferrari. I feel like for Polo, he was having an okay race until really the second half when he lost touch with the three main contenders. The two McLarens, ooh, that's invalid. And JTK, it was Jordan who took advantage with Polo and Dil JG, kind of making them fold and fall further back than they needed to. There was one of the cars who crossed the line. That was Lero Fusion, who's the full-time Haas driver, putting it up to 4th place right there on the timing charts. Optical also on loan to be in the V-Carb tonight in 8th place, the full-time Tier 3 driver. He finished in the points yesterday as well. And someone who also finished in the points the last time they raced here in Tier 2, Blond. This was back in Austria a few rounds ago. He missed last week, and it's good to see him back. A previous champion of Tier 2, the only champion in tonight's field of Tier 2.
Yeah, it's a bit, I'm not sure if he's allowed to be in the Mercedes, truth be told. I feel like I had the conversation with the TP before, like at the start of the season, if he was allowed to the top tier car. And I think I might have said no. However, I can't remember, so we'll let it slide.
Second fastest.
Yeah, respectable.
If he's too fast, he's not showing it yet. C. Davies invalidated lap time, and Polo God is going for yet another one, but I think he's backed off. We're on board with JTK now, our championship leader. I think Groggers, it's very crucial as he rear locks it and slides into turn 1, kind of the meta. I think it's very crucial for JTK to have a big points night tonight. He needs to take advantage of his rivals not being here. And also, Red Bull as a whole needs to take advantage. You have Mentelke coming back next week for the second half, able to finish out the season. The championship itself for her, out of the question. Not going to happen, I feel like. But the constructors, though, Red Bull are 3rd. They're within touching distance of McLaren and Ferrari. And one bad race from those two teams can put Red Bull back in the equation.
I mean, the way that JTK sorry, has to look at this race is that anything's a bonus. Because he doesn't need to win, because you know it's basically a free race for him. He obviously wants to score as many points as he can to maximise the difference, but he can't. You know, he shouldn't really need to put that sort of pressure on himself. He just has to sort of turn up and do what he does best, do what he knows how to do, and all should fall into place.
Well, JTK gonna complete this lap. Let's cover this as we get to the start-finish line. Those two right-hand corners, which you can see on the left side, has opened up very much. It's caused people an easier way to get out of the way of drivers, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen for a moment. Now, coming through the final couple of corners as he negotiates, again, you can see more gravel closer to the circuit compared to years prior. Differences on the curbs as well compared to years prior. That's something else that's very different about the circuit. DRS finally should be, I believe, in the correct location, as they did update that. He goes fastest, 41.8. That's the time to beat. Let's find out if any of them can do so in the coming moments. Vodka, before that, did go fastest. Kipu invalidated, but we're now on board with C. Davies into Sector 2. Quite the driver part of the circuit. I'd say the rest of the area of the circuit, Sector 1 and Sector 3, is very dependent on the car.
Um, can you change this? Oh, you can, never mind here. Excuse me. He's stupid. Yeah, I'm just not bothered with
It's okay.
Jordan. His first lap was pretty disappointing for his pace, 1.4 seconds off. So I think, yeah, something must have gone wrong in his first lap because he isn't that slow at all. I reckon he's to put this front row, Jordan. Today, after my qualifying prediction, I'm going to say it's going to be JTK pole, Jordan P3, P2, sorry, and then I say blonde P3. I reckon it's going to be a Red Bull Mercedes.
Interesting. I mean, Vodka in his debut, currently second right now. You don't have him in the top 3. I would put him in the top 3. I'd put JTK up there. And that second spot would either be between Blonde or Jordan. I would agree with that. I think it might go to Blonde, though. I think it might stay the same way with the top 3, but the positions might change. You spoke of Jordan. Last week, it was a good finish from him in the Mercedes at Spain. He had a quiet race for sure, no doubt about it. Deployment used already. That's what you got to manage very carefully with the ERS, though. And as he is approaching a Red Bull, no dirty air there, it looks like. That's something else that's changed. Kind of the pit lane as well with that wall being shortened, it looks like. But Jordan stays 7th fastest, could not improve in the lap, and that deployment used definitely seemed to hamper him quite a bit. Kipu's now going down the Kemmel straight and heading into sector 2 this time. Let's cover this lap. I'll give it to you in just a moment. But this section, as you start it, you're going to realize I cannot make a mistake as a driver, because if I do, there's so much time to be gained or lost right there through this sector 2 section, because this section, like we talked about the last time we were here in F1 Spa, excluding the part that it rained in, we talked about Cookie kind of maybe being a bit of a car merchant maybe. Was it because of the fact that the Red Bull helped him so much? Well, we'll find out in Sector 2. Right now, we'll find out what Kipo can make the difference in with Alpine as he comes through Sector 2 area.
Is he going to get blocked by the Aston man in front? No, he gets out of the way. Good man. It's a bit of a rarity we've seen so far. He's purple. I'm not sure if he actually is there. He's doing very well if he is purple. He's not used much overtake, which is probably a good thing, but we've seen, I've noticed Lateral Fusion and Jordan, you just said, have both been out of deployment about an hour on the lap. All looks nice and neat though. Chicane's so easy to get it wrong, but he keeps it nice and tidy. Doesn't lock the fronts, gets a good exit. That's a very good chicane. Where's it going to put him? P10. That's a little bit disappointing actually. I would have to be a bit higher than that personally. But...
Well, it may be disappointing right now, but I think it will be celebrations later for Kipu, because last week it was another points finish for him. He's been very quiet to start the season. He'd done quite well. He ended up beating Blue Goggy last week, even with the steward's room penalty that came into effect as well. Patrick F1 looks like he's using overtake now through the ending bit of Sector 3 now on the lap to complete this one. His last race for the Alpine Academy. He'll be in the Merc Academy later. He has invalidated his lap time. Red Fire Tiger, by the way, we missed this one, up to P3, getting ahead of Blonde. So he's now the highest Merc Academy driver. Lateral Fusion crosses the line using all the overtake he can to put himself up to 4th place. He's another one in this Haas. After coming into this league, he's been a bit quiet. He hasn't been bad, but he's not had the stand-up performance. Maybe tonight is the chance to do that. And Vodka looks like he's getting ready to start maybe his final lap.
Yeah, it's going to be a big lap now for Vodka. Is it going to be the pole lap? We shall see shortly.
Well, bust up chicane. Ooh. Bust up chicane to negotiate. DRS applied, overtake button on use, and we're going to take you through turn 1 now, also known as the source here. You can see the gravel on the left-hand side. If anybody goes off at that point, they'll have the chance to run back on. You can see that area with a little bit no gravel. That is the area to come back on from the runoff. Rouge, Radion, here we go. Does he go flat out? Yes, he does. And this area, so tough on the drivers. Not as tough this case with the F1 game. DRS now applied on the Kemmel straight, and here he comes to Lecombe. Down.
Just about matching his first lap. It's alright. It's quite high. Oh, he's invalidated. Oh, would he have enough fuel to go again?
Yeah, that's what it's going to depend on. He has the battery. He definitely will have tire length, but will he have the fuel He'll have the time as well to get back, but he needs the fuel, to your point being made. Very true.
If he's able to put it into lean, he should be alright, but I'm not sure if you can once you've started your flying lap. I might be wrong.
You can't.
For his sake, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, Minor. Tier 2 return on a lap right now before we get anyone starting their final flying laps here. We can talk about Leon for a bit. He returned as well this game. Tier 3 Imolo, who almost had a car in his way on the left-hand side. Maybe that'll go in as a report, but Leon using all the overtake right now down the Camel Straight, already on 30% in that battery. You've got to manage that battery a bit more carefully if you want to be able to not have deployment used. But Leon, we don't usually see him a lot. It's good to see him. He's 2/10 up in the time. Definitely has room to improve for sure.
Yeah, he's a bit quite far down the pack, a bit surprising because he's not the slowest driver, I'd say. Yeah, he did use a lot of battery in the first sector. Although he's managed to recover a bit of it back. He's in medium though. That is suboptimal.
Yeah. Well, something else that is suboptimal, George. Polo got here to set a lap.
I think maybe he's going again. Yeah, he must be going again. Sorry to interrupt you.
You're good. I was just going to say with Polo, that's the same thing as last week where he ended up not having a lap even before his final run. He is in trouble for the second week in a row in qualifying, and Vodka is up by 42 thousandths. We're going to see how the McLarens do end up here. Can they put yet another pole position onto their name? Last week, for Hunted's case, it was the 9th pole he had all-time in Tier 2. And in fact, it was back-to-back poles. Can McLaren make it 3 in a row? Right now, Vodka is looking good. Here he comes, flat out into Puan. Something different about this game going flat out there, but he's managed it quite well. He's only got half a lap remaining.
I just want to say as well, Jake Bandy's at 2/10 in the first sector alone. He's flying in that other McLaren.
So for McLaren's constructors case, George, very, very good. Up by almost the exact time he needs to beat JTK. He needs to find at least 4 thousandths in this final sector. Less than a minute remains.
As Jordan's just crossed the line to side like that, he's my prediction for the front row. Hopefully I've not jinxed him.
See what happens. We got a bust-up chicane to negotiate for Vodka on debut. Will it be pole position here? Oh, a little slide in the bust-up chicane. Across the line now. Oh. It will be just missing out. It will not be pole position. And Redfire Tiger will make it to the line, but I don't know if Kippu will. Kippu just might. We're going to watch Kippu before we get anyone else crossing the line, which would be Jake Bandy first. Kippu does make it to the start-finish line. Jake Bandy, you said he was up only just now.
Will he be able to get up to the front row or second row?
Cross the line. It will not be much of an improvement. Yeah, that is interesting right there. JTK going to complete the lap. We got a V-Carb completing a lap here soon. That should be optimal.
In the gravel, Blonde's in the wall. Oh no, that's not optimal. Blonde in the middle sector.
That is a big incident for Blonde. And he has some sort of damage, it looks like, but checkered flag. Patrick,
yeah, I jinxed him. Sorry.
Up to 10th, yeah, Jordan validating. Redfire Tiger going around and into the wall. That is a big hit from Redfire off. But because of Redfire and other drivers making mistakes, there are guys who need to complete laps and do it quickly. Leon comes across the line. Polo God comes across the line. Only 7th for the Irishman. That is big right there. C. Davies retired. He's down in 8th. Blonde crashed. That's obvious. He's not going to be able to get anything in there. But JTK going to go big slipstream from the V-Carb here. He already has pole position, but he wants to make sure he can extend this and show the field what he's capable of. Across the line now with the DRS applied. Will it be extending the pole? Yes, it will. 41.5. And for JTK, pole position once again. It's his 7th. Being the most active driver with the most poles in this tier, beating Blonde out for that one.
I think that's one of the biggest, or the biggest gaps in qualifying I've seen ever.
Definitely one in a while. Kippu's still yet to go and cross the line. 12th right now. You said that was disappointing. He changes that, putting him up to 9th place. Good run for Kippu once again. And Redfire Tiger. Big, big damage to that Aston Martin. They're going to need a big repair job. And, well, he'll definitely need it. 3rd place right now on the grid. You mentioned big gap from first to second, but I think I'm more surprised about the gap from first to fifth right now.
Yeah, no, sorry, that's what I was gonna like. Yeah, it's a 3/10 or almost 4/10 gap from first to second, another 3 or so tenth gap, then another 3/10 gap. You know, from what I've seen so far in this game, yeah, it's normally been a lot closer than that. It's quite surprising. Hopefully, it's closer in the race.
And we'll have to see what happens in the race. I probably expect simple, medium, hard. I don't really expect maybe a soft medium, maybe soft hard. I don't know. We'll have to find out when it shows the strategy in about 2 to 3 minutes time. Here's your qualifying order. 5 different teams inside the top 5. JTK on pole position. Vodka, his debut is second place for him. Red Fire Tiger in the Aston Martin making himself quite happy up there inside the top 3 again. Then you got Lyro Fusion, head of the teammate. Blonde 5th. Jake Bandy, Polo God, Davies, Kipu, and Jordan running our top 10. Not many drivers outside the top 10 to look for, but Ardell had the qualifying ban, and so did Wavy. Let's keep an eye out for them from the back of the grid for tonight's event, see what they end up causing from starting quite far back.
There's a formation up, I'm pretty sure.
Good, good, good. It's always good to see.
Well,
Well,
a bit of time to shit talk before the race starts.
yeah, definitely. There is a lot of things to talk about in terms of the circuit in seasons prior. Season 9, it was a Red Bull 1-2. Season 10, it was Alex Baer taking his first win. Leon Miner is lagged out. Oh boy, well, he'll need an invite back.
Oh
I can
no!
do
Not
that.
Leon!
It's unfortunate.
Do you have tea in America? Like cups of tea? Like, do you drink it?
No, I don't.
No, mate, you have to. Change your life.
I should. I should. You know what? I'll make a deal. If JTK wins tonight, I will.
Okay.
I will.
But
will. I've jinxed him.
I swear American spoil water though in the microwave, don't they?
That is true.
That is disgusting.
That's more so as well for coffee cases as well.
What?
Hot, to be fair.
Make
Yeah,
coffee?
sometimes some people do it.
That's
Some
disgusting.
people do that for coffee as well. Yup.
How
Yep.
do you make coffee? If you've got a coffee machine? Or...
I don't drink coffee. I'm not a coffee person.
Oh, fair enough. Oh. I will
But-
save judgment on that, but
Yeah, I mean, it's just not really me. I have over the last 4 months, I want to say, I have recently tried different things coffee-wise. Getting me to try new things is quite tough. It's kind of like getting JTK to swap Academy in the best car. I would say you're not going to get him to do that. But
would you try
yeah.
anything homosexual?
I don't know.
Asking for a friend? Title?
Oh.
Name drop?
Secrets may be revealed there. Everyone's starting on soft or medium, so I think this is going to be a soft medium maybe race.
Can you
It's
do
a
soft
bit
medium?
different.
Well, obviously you
I
can.
don't know about the circuit. I don't know the strategy well enough. You know what? I need Tadpole to send me with some more strategies for all the circuits to get used to
Pretty
things
equal
because I
spread.
really don't know it well enough. I don't know it well enough anymore for this game. I do think based on what we did see in preseason, soft medium is possible. Maybe soft hard, maybe medium hard. I don't know.
I
It's
personally
tough.
don't see the logic in starting on the softs, in my opinion. I think it's always the matter to, because especially this game where they bring out DRS after the first lap, it's much harder to break the DRS and sort of drive away as you would see on previous games, which is why starting on softs, for example, would be much more meta. So I think this game, yeah, starting on the softer compound is borderline, you know, just not really ideal. So I think, yeah, it's interesting to see some people starting on the softs. Well, a lot of people starting on the softs actually, but no, I think
Surprised.
if it was me, I'd be starting on the mediums.
Yeah, I would say for our 17 drivers here, it's a big toss-up, soft and medium. No one on the hards. I don't think you're going to use the hards here just because I mean, maybe if you pit early and end up having an incident, you would to get the rest of the way going and hope there's no safety car. I just think, especially based on last night's race in Tier 3 as well, you could definitely see, even though it was at Hungary, the hards, although they go a while, they're just not as fast enough. They don't wear quickly, but these tires, 22 laps, it wears quickly enough to use them, I feel like. So I can understand that maybe a bit more. I don't know if the soft's the right tire to start on, but we'll find out from half the field starting on them, half the field not starting on those tires. Just a reminder, though, for those of you who are not here at the top of the hour, we had the championship standings that we went over. JTK leads by 12 points over John. Dill JG behind right there in third as well. None of those two are attending tonight, but JTK on pole position is attending, and he is in good sights to extend the championship lead and get Red Bull back up on the top two. Red Bull are in third in the constructors, McLaren and Ferrari on top. But apparently, according to some of the drivers, Vodka was the one to ready up early. We'll find out if anything comes to that later, if anybody got a clip of that or whatnot. Maybe he is in trouble, but we'll find out here come the start.
Quickly, here's your money onto in the race then.
JTK or Vodka, easily one of those two. Don't be surprised if Red Fire disappoints. He said he was up by 3/10 in quali before that incident he had. He was 3/10 off of pole.
I'm going to go with JTK.
5 red lights come upon us, and RPL Tier 2's return to Spa. They rev it up, and the lights are out. Away we go. You can see already movement from the cars to the back. The Ferrari in the middle. Movement from him. Red Fire Tiger's going to dive down the inside. Vodka, also around the outside, has boxed JTK in and got a big launch to the lead. 5/10 of the gap, and that's amazing there. JTK has been put down side by side to a Rouge and Radion with Kipu and the Ferraris. But now, up the top of the hill, you can see lots of movement from the midfield. Here comes Red Fire Tiger to take back the lead in a Tier 2 race around the outside to Sector 2. He's done it.
Now Fusion and Blonde are wheel to wheel as well. Oh, Blonde puts the big slide! Oh my god! How did he keep that on the road? Unbelievable!
Major contact
Kipper into
there.
play though. Wow, fair play to Blonde. Now Fusion though has almost lost DRS from JTK already. As a result of that collision, that could be pivotal in the race.
You can see lots of stack ups here as they enter Sector 2 from drivers being maybe caught behind others. We'll look at the positions gained in a moment. Both V-Carbs quite close. That's Robin getting pushed out maybe a little bit wide right there. He is side by side now with Martinez, who helped the teammate there of JTK quite a bit last week. Can he do so and get himself up the grid this time in his second race? The Haas going out very wide. That is Robin and Leon Miner. I guess when he joined back the session, it retired his car. Leon's return to Tier 2, not going to plan, but Vodka in quite a good position here to take back the lead of the race as Jordan gets Patrick.
Slow Fusion, quite surprisingly, I would say, is driven back into the DRS of the cars at the front. Almost dropping Blonde in the process. Good for Lerrell.
Polo God gets C. Davies. It's a big kerfuffle, 7th on back. You could already see the positions gained on the side of our screen, but there's guys looking to do more. Here comes Kipu and Jake Bandy, Academy teammates, going side by side into La Source. Kipu will get out ahead, and that's a V-Carb getting shoved out wide there. Ardell was in that equation as well back there, but side by side to
Here comes
Rouge.
Vodka.
Jordan, that was close, but now close for the lead. Vodka gets it back over Red Fire Tiger. 1 place gain now for both on the second lap now. Kipu getting overtaken by Jordan. Jordan up 2.
Most importantly though, JTK, even though he had a pretty poor start, dropped 2 positions, he is sat in P3 and he is all he's got to do is sit behind and wait for their tyres to fall off, which are on the medium tyres. As Jack famously says, the longer you stay out, the faster I get. That's all JTK is going to do. He's going to wait for the softs to fall off, and then the race is his.
I would have expected Ardell to gain more spots. It's Optical around, by the way. He's the cause of yellow flags. I would have expected Ardell to gain more spots. He's actually got damage on the left end plate, so that's what's affecting his race. Wavy gained 3 spots. He's the one on the opening lap who gained the most spots of anybody. So from a qualifying ban, it looks like he's doing all he can in the Williams. And yes, Red Fire Tiger, you did see that out of DRS now. He's put back into the realms of JTK, Fusion, Blonde, and Polo God, who has got himself almost out of DRS of Davies. So lap 2 of this race of 22. This race does go by quite quickly, fair to say, but lots are happening right now. Robbing ahead of Patrick, and Ardell getting through and clear on Wavy. Leon Miner retired from this race, first and only one out. He said when he lagged out, his sister turned off the Wi-Fi.
Now this does make the race interesting, I'd say, with Vodka being able to break DRS, because as I just said, not even a lap ago, how it brings JTK back into play. I think this is instantly twisted the race on its head again, as it proves to JTK he needs to get on a move on a little bit. He needs to get past Red Fire Tiger. He can't really afford, in a perfect world, to let Vodka gap him, as he's doing now with a simple DRS overtake and using all the battery So close back into DRS. That's just what he needed.
Whoa! Red Fire Tiger, was that moving under braking from him? Fusion had to take evasive action right there. And that is also Jordan getting clear of C. Davies. There is yellow flags for Optical. Calling it quits so far in this race. Second driver to end up not reaching the flag. Although JTK got by Red Fire. Oh, big moment. Big moment from Red Fire Tiger. He's going to be out of DRS from that one. I was just going to say about DRS, JTK is back in this fight, George, and I think he needed that.
Absolutely, yeah. He had to turn on the burners there. He had to get back into DRS. And it's also pretty huge as well that he's been able to drop Red Fire Tiger in the process. So his only concern now is staying behind Vodka. He hasn't got that worry from behind.
Kipu
on the gateway.
in closing range of Davies. Patrick F1 and more battles. There's been a board destroyed by one of the cars. That might have been because of Martinez in front going off. You can see Patrick F1 now at a DRS of Martinez in his last race for Alpine Academy, while Fusion does steer clear of Red Fire Tiger. Interesting stuff right there. Red Fire Tiger has just went from leading this race a bit ago, now down to fourth, and having his Academy teammate, Blonde, pressure him. Red Fire Tiger is in. Does he have a bit of damage on his car? Is that why he is pitting and has been struggling? We'll find out now.
If he tries to get banned, there's no way he retires. That's, like, can't do that.
He doesn't have any damage. Wow. I'm a bit surprised. I would have thought if he was going to pit, he would have damage.
Perhaps he's just doing an alternate strategy.
Maybe he was struggling on the start. I don't know. He just seemed like he just fell off there on the last lap that he did before pitting.
It does seem like though that JTK is much faster than Vodka for the minute. Maybe their soft tyres have hit a bit of a wall. We shall see. But JTK does look like he's the fastest car on track. Mind you, Lower Fusion as well. I say that Lower Fusion has caught back about half a second already.
Wow.
So who knows? Maybe those soft tyres really have fallen off, and these mediums are really coming into their own.
Polo God has overtaken Blonde for the 4th place spot. Jake Bandy and Robin were going at it on the straight, and now Wavy Knife getting ahead of Patrick F1 right here. Nice little 3-car scrap here for 12th place. But with Ardell having damage yet to pit, this is going to be big for him to get back into the field. And it's also going to be even bigger, George, that Fusion, our podium sitter right now in 3rd place, having a penalty to his name already.
What a mongrel.
Well, track limits are big here. Oh.
Red Fire is left. That is not good for him. Have I got him at WA? I don't think so.
I might. I will get him in just a moment. Right now, our race lead is at threat. Vodka has it. JTK wants it. And he had it on the start there until turn 1, when Vodka just broke a little bit later and got the advantage. But also with this battling for the lead, it might catch Fusion and them up behind the 2 Ferraris. Also with Fusion being right there in 3rd, having the penalty he has, Polo God right now would have the net podium. But Jake Bandy, he's in quite the amount of battles. He's fallen back now. He made a mistake there. And Robin took advantage. Martinez took advantage. And right in front of him, Davies and Kipu are going side by side. And there is contact. Kipu almost getting shoved onto the curb. Lucky enough not to go into the gravel right there. That would have been catastrophic for both drivers. Ardell getting clear of Patrick, but now for our race lead, JTK now gonna be another driver to take back the race lead of this race. And behind, both Ferraris do swap it around meanwhile. Polo got through.
I was going to say that JTK and Vodka, they were both using no ERS and playing a bit of DRS games going into that chicane. If they are going to do that, which they are allowed to do, as long as they do it off racing line, I must add.
Correct.
They want to be careful because they don't want to lose too much time to the cars behind.
Whoa, was that Kipu shoving Robin in the braking zone almost to the grass? That may get looked at if it was any moving under braking right there with Kipu. Usually Kipu, one to avoid stuff like that, but aggressive racing in the midfield. I'd say it's quite clean so far. Maybe stuff just slightly over the limit, but right now, this is getting very tasty with these drivers sitting in line, maybe not wanting to anymore. You can see some drivers moving out in the braking zone, maybe just trying to find the braking line at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. That is something I see quite a lot. So it's quite annoying when you're sat so closely behind someone. It's just,
Red Fire said his game is not loading, George.
Not good. Not good.
If he wanted an undercut, this has definitely hampered that.
The race is slipping away from him.
So unlucky. So unlucky, and you know what? Aston, they've scored points in every race so far this season. They're going to have to rely on C. Davies today, and Kipu and Jordan now go side by side. Oh, Jordan shoves Kipu right onto the curb, and now Jordan shoving Robin out. Oh, this is a big battle, 3 wide.
I'd just like your input quickly, actually, as an admin. Thoughts on the chances of a race restart, because both Leon and Redfire have had connection issues.
If it happens to a third, I would agree, but only being two, I think a lot of people would be unhappy with that. Lots of movement here. Now for our lead, Vodka ahead of JTK once again. Yeah, I would say if it was for more than 2 or 3, I'd understand. I think a lot of people would be upset if it was just for 2, because it's not been that way in the past, as Jack, Luke, and others have declined that happening. Martinez ahead of Jordan. Wow, good race from him so far.
Okay, if a third person lags out before lap 10.
Yeah, that'd be something to consider. Yeah, fair point. That was Patrick F1, by the way, that caused the yellow flags, George, just moments ago. I don't know if he was anywhere within proximity of Ardell when that happened or not, but yeah, so far, I mean, usually I would say Kipu being the standout driver so far, because he's been quite well this season, but right now I'd have to give the credit to Martinez. He's definitely had a quiet race, to say the least. Redfire Tiger has joined back. Good to see. But for our race lead, JTK, in striking distance of Vodka, he's probably going to wait to make this move, but he does realize the driver he took out in Austria, Polo God, is closing, and maybe Polo God, although he doesn't want to take him out, he does want that revenge from Austria and claw his way back up in this fight. Finally, we're seeing Polo God have a chance to get close enough for these guys. At Spain, he really did not have the chance to do that, and it was not in the fight. But now, with Vodka and JTK continuously battling and going back and forth, Polo God just has to hope his teammate can hold off Blonde just a little longer, so he's not the one doing what JTK and Vodka are doing, swapping it back so constantly. And it will happen again. JTK boosting and now ahead.
To be fair, these two have been pretty smart. They actually DRS past each other, taking out quite a bit of time from the cuts behind every lap. Just 2 or 3 tenths here and there, just slowly extending the gap. It is smart from them.
Jordan. But moving around behind Martinez. I thought that was going to be a collision. Sorry to cut in. That was a near big moment from Jordan. He was lucky he got it stopped in time and did not run into Martinez right there. By the way, we did see Robin get a 3-second for getting forced off just about 2 laps ago.
You should get that removed then if you can provide his race director, which shows he didn't get any of the warnings. Jake Bandy joined the penalty club.
Well, Wavy Knife as well. Jake Bandy getting his 2nd track limit penalty already. I mean, I thought track limits would be quite harsh around here, George, but I didn't expect it to be harsh for this harsh for some of these guys like Jake Bandy right now.
Yeah, there's only sort of 2 or 3 corners, well about 4 or 5 corners you can really get track limits penalties, but at those corners it's very easy to do so.
We should be seeing Vodka come in soon, by the way. Not too soon, but soon.
Perhaps he's just waiting for if and when he loses DRS. As soon as he does, then to dive in the pits to try and take his tyres as long as he can. Personally, that's what I would do, because DRS is so fast around this track. But yeah, each to their own. He's gone quite a fair big distance on those softs so far. I think he's maybe trying to get to lap 10, give or take.
Jordan, he's in. He's on the hards. Whoa, okay, did not expect that one. Well, our race lead at threat. Not really seeing any moves there, but behind you can also see Polo God and Blonde, I believe. Switch it around. No, sorry, that's Fusion and Blonde. Who was the leading Ferrari after he took over last lap. Blonde now ahead of both Ferraris. So what is it with both Ferraris kind of being under pressure from Mercedes now 2 weeks in a row? Are Ferrari just not happy with their car, at least their drivers, with the way it seems here in Tier 2 and even maybe Tier 3? Compared to what Mercedes is doing? Oh, contact! Jake Bandy right into the back of Robin. And Redfire Tiger, as he tries to take control, has retired from this event. He's the 3rd one to retire, and that's the 2nd driver that's happened to.
I'm seriously considering a restart here. I think it is unfair that 2 drivers have been forced to retire on behalf of a glitch. I think we'll give it to lap 10. As I said, if someone else... Well, I think we just got a ping. See what this is.
I hope none of them are watching the stream because you don't want them leaving intentionally. But, yeah. I must say, although it's quiet right now, George, I think it's fair to say my two disappointments so far from this race would be Ardell and Jake Bandy. I would have thought Jake Bandy would have done better in that McLaren, and I also would have thought Ardell would have clawed his way through the field a lot more quicker.
As Vodka has lost the RS, this next lap for JTK is pretty pivotal. He needs to try and extend it now as much as he can. As Vodka will inevitably pit this lap, you should think.
Well, also, something else to consider, George, from what I think one of the drivers did say prior. Vodka may be redding up before he should, redding up early. Maybe that'll be looked at later. Right now, we're looking at third place being traded between Fusion and Blonde. Fusion is ahead, Blonde now behind. And I think they're tactically doing this with each other, not really fighting it come the braking zone. This is exactly what you want to do if you're going to swap places and have one driver go in front of the other. Speaking of one driver going in front of the other, Ardell and Wavy have done that once again. Ardell is through.
So I thought wing damage, and I think I remember you saying at the start of the race he had something wrong with his car.
Yeah, left end plate. Yeah.
I see, yeah.
I'm still disappointed, though. I would have thought he would have not been fighting a Williams so much with that damage anyways, though. I thought he would have been able to prevail quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how big the damage is, and to be fair, this track is one of the tracks where, yeah, a lot of front end is required.
Yeah.
Maybe things will turn around once he gets it changed. If he can remember to set it to change wing.
Fire Tiger is not happy. He is livid right now in the Tier 2 drivers chat. And I would say I cannot blame him because this has not happened only just once to him this season. It's happened twice. And you can see Blonde maybe shipping up a move on Fusion. Not really. Vodka blinks first out of him and JTK. Both Ferraris also stay out. But this is going to be crucial for Fusion, Blonde, and Polo not to battle this out too much, therefore they can get within striking distance of Vodka, and maybe one of them can hunt down JTK on the fresher tires if they have a chance to do so. Big wiggle, though, from Blonde, fighting that car behind one of the Ferraris ahead of the other Ferrari. But now other drivers come in. Robin as well is in. Wavy Knife is in. But right now, Blonde is looking to take P2 back. What was P3? Technically not P3. Polo God trying to do so himself and take both places now. The teammate 3 wide momentarily. Polo God ahead. Oh. Blonde now behind both Ferraris now again.
Jake Bandy retires in the pits. Interesting.
What happened to his race? Why has he decided to call it quits 10 laps in? He was not having the worst of races, but he was not having the best of races either. He still had a chance at points, even with the 6-second penalties.
You probably find he had something like wing damage and it didn't get fixed.
Maybe. Still
inexcusable. He shouldn't be retiring in the pits. He will be getting a penalty for that.
If he doesn't provide a good reason, though. If he had an emergency, had a ring damage, then I'm sure people will be fine with him retiring in the pits. Ardell was someone last week who was arguing the fact that retiring in the pit lane shouldn't be as heavily penalized, but when he ended up being reminded of the fact that in Bahrain there were yellow flags that caused a bit of issues between Kentucky, Jordan, and that midfield fighting cars, then he kind of realized that, yeah, it's a fair penalty. It is.
Yeah, perfect example as to why it's illegal is Wavy last week in Spain.
Yes.
Where his AI just parked it at the exit, and it almost caused a massive collision. Not only that, but also obviously this.
Oh, Polo God around turn 1. He may have got tagged from his teammate.
It's twice now. Twice, both Austria and now here, where he's been taken out by his teammate. I'm fuming if I was him.
Oh, well, Austria, I mean, Dil JG was in the fight. I think it was JTK who tapped him, but now we got his teammate, though. Fusion going through on Blonde. Big drama to change up the fight in really the podium battle for this race. And Polo God is able to hold on to Martinez, but not really see Davies when he rejoined this race. And Ardell is out at the top of Arouge and Radion. That's a safety car. This helps JTK massively.
This has flipped the race back on its head. That has saved Polo God.
Yes.
Brought everyone back into the race. That is really not helping Vodka, though. I do feel a little bit sorry for him. How old are his tyres?
I think
well, he might. Yeah, he's fine.
He might be in second place regardless, Vodka, because of the battling that those guys had put on. But I'm not sure if it will be comfortably second. I don't think it will be comfortably second. I don't know. He definitely won't get this lead over JTK when JTK comes in. But yeah, talk about flipping this race upside down. He's really helped out Ardell massively. Dainty says Vodka's driving like he's sober at least.
I mean, maybe, to be fair, this actually could help out Vodka, because...
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure, because JTK had a sizable gap on him. Vodka would have probably closed that up, though, in the art of the undercut. If he can get out in P2, though, I don't think he'd be affected too much by it anyway. In the sense that he wouldn't have gained anything or lost anything. We shall see. Hopefully he gets out. Oh, he's pitting! He's pitting! That I would... Wow, that is...
If he has fresh soft tires, why not go for it? I don't blame him. But you got to make sure these soft tires last the full distance. Polo God, double stack at Ferrari there. That's going to affect him a bit, it looks like. He's behind Martinez. Maybe, yes, just. Yeah, and Jordan stays out.
I'm not sure why Polo God did that. Oh, Polo God, sorry, Vodka. We saw it yesterday in T3 with Invade. He stayed out on the hard stuff that was everyone else pitted for fresh mediums. At the time, it seemed like a stupid mistake. However, the harder tyres lasted longer, and he was able to still maintain the podium position and fight for the lead up until the last lap.
Yeah.
I think with the nature of this track as well, Vodka would have been much better off maybe having the slightly slower tyres, even though I'd argue they even were slower than the softs. Having the crucial position, I think he's missed out big here.
Yeah, I would have to say, I think the difference with Belgium and Hungary based on the tires that we've seen based on tonight and even last night, I did the same thing as Invade did yesterday as well, and I would agree it was the right thing for yesterday's circumstances because of how quick the medium tires wore off, but based on today, us seeing soft tires in the race, whereas we didn't see that in Hungary, I think you'd be better in Vodka or Kipu's situation maybe on the medium tires, because if the soft tires at least wear out, you have the medium tires which will not wear out as much, and I think you'll be at the advantage on. That's going to be the interesting thing. I think the hard tires for Jordan, though, and even Patrick, they might not work out as much. They might work out a little bit against the softs, but see, the thing is with Hungary, it's tougher to overtake, whereas Spa, although you said there's not many overtaking opportunities, I think there is quite a bit that can be done on the main straight, on the camel straight. A lot of these straights dependent on ERS and the wings that you have. You were saying?
It's a lot of DRS trains, but I think, no, for certain, I think even we saw it in the first stint, JTK after sort of 3 or 4 laps, maybe even 5 laps, the softs just seemed to hit a wall and the mediums came into their own. I think he was definitely driving position. Vodka, I would put my money on him. However, now he's given himself all the work to do.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares out with that. We have the safety car going to stay out an extra lap here, of course. That's okay. That happens. Every driver now caught up to the pack here. 12 drivers remain in this race. 5 have retired. I must say for Tier 2's case, it's a bit disappointing we've seen this many retirements. But in all fairness, though, 2 of them being because of game glitches, and 2 drivers actually going back to the pits here.
Back on mediums. He pitted for new mediums when he was on new mediums.
Yeah. Did they choose the wrong tire here compared to what they want? Obviously, Patrick is going to mediums, but I think the Haas crew have soft tires ready, and they do. He's actually serving the 10-second. That's why. That makes total sense now. You got a 10-second for crossing the exit line there, and I caught that on stream. He deserved that one fully. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see though. JTK in this fight. Martinez in the points for V-Carb actually inside the top 5. Vodka gonna have to charge his way back through. Will he be in trouble with the stewards later on for readying up early before he's allowed to? That usually ends up being a 10-second penalty. That would definitely cost him with the safety car coming out. Polo God back in this race. Fusion definitely going to be costed with that penalty, but can other drivers who've not taken a podium before, like C. Davies, take advantage? He had a good race in Qatar earlier this season, and maybe he'll have a good one again.
Who's your money on then? JTK?
Yeah, I think it has to be him right now, but The big question will be, can those soft tires get the rest of the way? If they don't, Kipu and Vodka will definitely win out big here. And Kipu, again, he's not really impressed as much as he did in Spain. He's not really ahead of a driver like a Red Bull or a Mercedes maybe left in this race still, but he is right there with his Academy teammate. If he can follow him through, he'll do just the right things if the soft tires do end up wearing out maybe quicker than they would. Just a reminder, by the way, for those of you tuning in to follow the RPL Twitch or YouTube or all of our social medias with the same exact name, RPL Formula 1. We have more racing this weekend. We have F1 in Miami tomorrow after F2 in Saudi Arabia, a street circuit weekend to end off, and Tier 3s in Baku. More street circuits to come. But next week, Tier 2 will be in Silverstone for the second half of the season. Safety car restart about to get underway. JTK, although he has a car behind him with a track limit penalty, he definitely needs to nail this.
Keep an eye on Jordan. He's on the hards. He's on 5 laps, 6 lap old hards. However, towards the end of the race, I think he might come into his own. So keep an eye. I wouldn't count him out yet.
I also wouldn't count out Vodka, like I said as well. He has 7 cars to overtake between him and JTK, and we did see him make a lot of overtaking earlier on and have a lot of bold moves. Will it work out? Cloud cover, quite a bit of it across the track here. Don't think it'll rain, but safety car restart getting underway in just moments' time. How long does he leave it, JTK? He's going now. And off the brake for the bus stop chicane. He's got almost a second lead over Fusion already. But there's still 2 corners that he has to navigate. Safety car is in. Just waiting for all cars to cross the line before we get the safety car icon off of our screen. Martinez now having a look, not making anything of it. In the background, we have the Haas down the inside. That is Robin and Patrick. Oh, a bit of shoving between the pair of them. But Patrick is now behind the Haas driver. Martinez closing in on Davies. This will be a big battle for 4th place. And Wavy Knife getting himself another penalty right there. 6 seconds to his name now. But movement, weaving and bobbing. Drivers trying to warm up the tires. And definitely some drivers trying to maybe pick their braking zone and look out here. Here comes Wavy Knife on Kipu now for points. Patrick F1 on Robin. Everything still staying intact. By the way, George, you may see the safety car icon. I believe they can overtake. You saw this happen in Japan F1 last week, where the safety car icon took a lap or 2 to go away. This might remind some people of when TB put his own safety car graphics up in Tier 2 back in Season 4. He took about a lap or 2 to put it away. Same thing happening here. Moves happening. Polo God under pressure. Oh, Kipu's around!
Just have to go quickly for a lap or so. Give me a minute. Sorry.
All right, sounds good. I could tell you had something going on there. But Jordan now in the penalty box. That is very crucial to his race. But Polo God and Vodka 2 seconds back. They need to make these moves quick. But Kipu, it's all coming crashing down. There's also contact between Jordan and Polo God. Polo God now with a penalty. Oh my goodness. But now he'll try the other way. The outside. The long way around. Can he pull it off? Jordan just brakes late enough. Now Polo God trying for a switcheroo. The McLaren's right there in the background. But Polo God is finally ahead of the Mercedes driver after so much battling. But will Jordan send him at the inside? No, Vodka will. Big send. He takes out Polo God. And that's a big incident. Jordan's off as well. Vodka, a big shunt with Polo. And that is big drama to this race. Polo God had a wavy. Jordan and Patrick side by side. Robin to 6. Oh my goodness. Here comes Patrick F1 in his last race in the Alpine Academy. Going ahead just slightly. But Robin back down the inside. Side by side. Leaning on each other. Robin is ahead. But just keep in mind, if Kipu and Vodka get back there, they will win out in the penalty box. However, Vodka is around again. And any questions of maybe him getting back up to the field and getting ahead of JTK, now are over. Surely. Has to be. Right now in this podium place, though, due to Fusion's penalty, it is Blonde and Davies who hold the net podium. Right now, AMS Martinez is trying to get V-Carb back onto the podium in Tier 2 for the first time in 4 seasons. He'd be the 2nd driver to do it since the start of the F1 23 game cycle. The last one to do it, Sam Steed. But that was in a wet race. This one is now a dry race. And Polo God, who's been taken out twice now, has surely got to be livid. Just being behind Jordan once again after he worked so hard to get by him.
Oh my lord, what happened? Why is there an 8-second gap between cars?
Well, Polo God and Vodka came together, but now Patrick F1 is getting the upper edge on Robin. Six-car train here for 6th place in this race. And I'm sure Polo God and Jordan would love to make some moves in this train, but after getting taken out, getting an incident, this is going to be a bit of a tougher task for them. Vodka in the pits, and I think this is maybe a retirement or him going for the fastest lap.
Yeah, he's probably going for the... Oh, he's back on mediums again. What is it with him and pitting for mediums when he doesn't need to pit for mediums?
Well, more moves being made. We're going to see Patrick F1 maybe going a bit to the side, and now Robin going through.
Martinez is having a hell of a race. He's keeping with his leading pack as well in a much slower car.
Whoa! Here comes Patrick F1 back down the inside. Now, wheel to wheel here. Into No Name! Bouncing off each other. More contact! Now, Robin slots in behind. I see you've submitted a tier 3 clip mid-race, George. Oh, more moves. This time it's from Robin. Again, down the inside, trying to take the place back. But this battling surely going to hamper them from having any chance to get to the top 5 if any of them spin out or have any issues. But this battle for 6th, so tight, so heated, so hard with each other. And right now, Patrick F1 is just trying to hang on. Blonde is lagged out. That's big. But now movement further on back. Wavy and Kipu. Polo God now trying to get back up. So much happening. Almost 3 wide. Oh, that's 3 wide in the background. But Polo God and Robin getting boxed in right there. Because of lagging out. Blonde has been overtaken for net P2. Davies has it. Right now, though, Polo God, Patrick F1. Patrick F1 with a big send. And he's through. But backs off, though, because he wants Polo to have the DRS. Or, you know, he wants him to have the DRS, Polo not to have the DRS. So much going on with just 5 laps remaining next time by. It was Patrick F1 who got the DRS. Polo God didn't. Polo God under immense pressure here. Which way does Patrick go? To the grass. 4 wide. Big incident. No. Crash. Polo God on the wall again.
That was a bit shoddy. He was 4 wide at one point. I think that was
Whoa!
It was to be expected, though.
Both Alpines getting very racy once again. It's Kipu this time. He's trying to claw his way back up to the field. He's up to 7th now. George, when you came back just 2 laps ago, it was a, what, 8-second gap right here from 5th to 6th? And even though Blonde is lagged out, it's technically a 13-second gap right there between 5th and 6th.
Yeah, this is the definition of close, hard racing. Getting a little bit over the line.
Yeah, touch and go.
I don't think it's been the cleanest week of RPL so far, with Tier 3 being borderline the Coliseum, and Tier 2 living up to it as well.
Well, Kipu again trying to get past Robin side by side. Oh, getting under the curb. There was the Haas. He was so lucky not to have an airplane crash with Kipu right there. You already saw one Alpine basically have what was going to be an airplane crash. Polo God, we're lucky we didn't get another one with a different Ferrari Academy car right here. Polo God is into the pits. Will this be a retirement? Vodka, by the way, out of this race. He was our 6th retirement. He leaves the session. Polo God, I think, going to go for fastest lap right here. And now, Fusion has been overtaken for 2nd place on track. Looking for Aston Martin to get back up to the podium for the first time since Qatar. Just, what, 3 seasons ago with Beatnik in that race? That definitely was dramatic for the 2nd and 3rd place man in the championship. Kipu now down the order. He's been overtaken by 2 cars on the straight. Jordan, big send!
Big move.
And through!
What a move. Those cars are coming back to life. They're coming back to the race, coming back towards Jordan.
Lots happening, it must be said, for this midfield. It's fair to say it's gone a little over the limit, but it's good action to see. Vodka apologizing to Polo God, though, in the driver's chat.
Just like to comment on JTK quickly, whilst it calms down for a quick second. In the lead, three and a bit seconds, 80% battery. He is turning up. He's done exactly what he needed to do so far. I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, he's put in an absolute performance. C. Davis was one of the Aston Martin, holding down P2 for the minute, and also the AMS Martin in the RB doing a fantastic job for the second. As we go back to Kipu, oh my lord, it's 2x2.
5 cars under a blanket once again. How tight do you need to be? Robin sliding now. Maybe on the power, maybe getting tapped right there, but both Mercedes right here. 5th and 6th now. Now that's no longer the case as Kipu takes advantage. Can we get a good camera angle for this? Because these cars are still all up against each other. Jordan goes wide to back off and get the DRS. Patrick F1 through. He'll have the DRS on his teammate. Kipu will be a sitting duck once again. Davies couldn't get fusion, but Martinez looks to be getting another V-carb onto the podium once again. Here comes Patrick F1 on the teammate. 3 wide maybe. Jordan didn't want to do it. He didn't want to put Patrick in such a vulnerable spot until he could get him by himself now. Wavy through on Kipu now. Kipu just went from the first car on the train to the last car on the train.
That is the curse and blessing of DRS.
Very true. Very, very true. You spoke about JTK. I want to speak about him as well. Exactly what he needed today, and some may argue with a lot of drivers always saying, this driver's too fast for this tier. Well, I would not say this driver's too fast for this tier, but his competition today kind of went out the window, that's for sure. They all had trouble when JTK just seems to take advantage always. But Wavy gets Robin and Kipu again. Wow.
Yeah, it seems to be JTK. He is close to being the fastest, maybe not the fastest driver, but he's certainly the most consistent, and that's why he's winning all these races. As Jack Miles also famously says, being fast in TT isn't what makes a driver good, it's being consistent and not getting penalties, and that is what JTK is proving.
Very true.
This is why he's championship leader.
Very, very true. And it's also why Red Bull right now are looking to claw their way back up the field. McLaren, by the way, having a double retirement too. This is their first double retirement in 2 game cycles, so very unfortunate for their race. But right now Martinez and Davies looking to take 2nd on track and 3rd on track. They already have it on the penalties. Davies going for it regardless. He's through and ahead.
Good clean racing up front.
Yep, has to be said. They're definitely keeping it cleaner than this battle for 6th, which edges on again.
Jordan blown back into the race as well. He was about 1.5 seconds back, but this fight, yeah, he's almost back in DRS, so big props to him. Not giving up.
Agreed. It shows what you can do, never giving up. Last week we had, well, a Williams retire. Actually, both Williams retire 5 laps into the race. And right now we got one of them 9th place in the points right now. If we look at the penalties, though, I don't know if Wavy's going to be keeping that. Maybe he will just, but still, you got Polo God, who's 15 seconds behind, having a penalty as well, and probably not in the equation to take it unless something happens to Wavy. That's has to be said. Yeah, with McLaren, though, they did not need this leading, or sorry, 2nd in the Constructors. Ferrari as well, 11th and 3rd in this race, soon to be 5th and 11th. Yeah, I think Red Bull will probably be taking the Constructors lead after today's event. It's safe to say. Only
never
just,
back
though.
Down, never what? Never back down, never what?
Oh, 3 wide again. 3 abreast, maybe. I think Patrick F1 defending immensely here against Jordan. Is he trying to help out his teammate? Is he just doing it for his own goodwill, good pleasure right here? We'll find out. Kipu right now getting ahead of Jordan, though. Patrick braking very late. Oh, gonna go deep.
This is very good racing we are seeing here. Very hard, very fair. Minimal contact made, apart from the one-on-one incident with Polo God, which was pretty catastrophic, to be fair. It's remaining the most part respectful, although Wavy Life has entered the fray, so watch out for a massive pile-up.
Well, we're going to find out who continues to play these DRS mind games like the Alpines have with each other and with others, and almost a bit of touching on the straight between them. Now, after the Camel Straight, who will be ahead? Right now, it's Patrick F1 being ahead in his last Alpine Academy race. Oh, big move from Kipu. That was maybe late, but Jordan took advantage anyways.
That was a loosey-goosey.
Oh, another one.
Kipu.
Another one for Fusion. He's not going to keep second place, surely. He won't even keep fifth place. But will Blonde be taking the podium, or will the V-Car be taking the podium?
I would say if I was level Fusion, I would just pit and go fastest lap. However, he won't even be able to do that because he's on the penultimate lap now.
See, if he got the track limit penalty the lap prior, it would make much more sense to do so. But these guys, 6th place back, 20 seconds behind the 5th place car. And we're about to reach the final lap where JTK is going to be going into the second half of the season in a better mindset, I would say, than he was last season compared to his battle with J&T in the championship. Martinez is also so close here to maybe even take 2nd place after the penalties get applied. But we got to remember, 10 laps in the softs. Do not want to be in puncture territory. Hopefully these guys have saved the tires. Final lap underway. These guys for 6th place will be reaching that final lap in just a moment time. They're that far back. They've been battling so much.
Here we go then for the last place on the podium.
Big battle. See Davies taking it. Will Martinez follow through? He will. Blonde there in the background, almost 4 wide again, and under the grass, and almost a big collision. Oh my goodness. Martinez shoving Blonde out. Blonde coming back at it, and Blonde is through and into the podium place. The last podium place right here. Martinez, if he's gonna get it, it has to be later, but there's a big lockup. Martinez back down the inside and hits his rear wheel.
He's getting very elbows out, very desperate. But you can't blame him, it's for the last podium spot.
6th place still edges on as well. Patrick F1 has it. Jordan wants it back, and big moment. Patrick gets a penalty. Jordan down the inside. Lunge from him. Will he be able to pull it off over the Alpine? It looks like he just does. But it has to be said as JTK comes in the final sector. This is exactly what he needs heading into the second half.
I think Blonde might have to earn enough here to keep the last place in the podium. Maybe he might get a penalty for what happened in the chicane. He did have a little bit of an unsafe rejoin. However, for the minute on track honours, he will be keeping that podium. AS Martin, though, a huge drive from him, and JTK as he just crosses the line now. An unbelievable drive to secure the win.
His 6th win in Tier 2 comes tonight, but more importantly, the championship lead gets extended into the second half of the season. He drove like a rock star. He doesn't need no reminder of it. JTK wins once again, but 7th place up for grabs. 6th place maybe. Lots of contact. Davies did get the podium for Aston Martin, returning them up to the podium. 2 wide. Photo finish. It is going to be Kipu ahead of Patrick when the penalties get applied, and Wavy and Robin taking 9th and 10th. Davies back on the podium for Aston Martin. Blonde back on the podium. The only Tier 2 champion in tonight's event, doing a hell of a job.
So, who's your driver of the day going to go to before we quickly interview JTK?
Ooh, yeah, it'd have to be JTK or Davies. I think JTK kept it the most consistent. I don't know. I would have to agree with J&T, though. Although it was elbows out to your point, it was nice to see, but the driving standards was not really great from some of these guys.
Do you reckon? I think Martinez has to be in the conversation as well.
Fair point.
You know, fighting for a podium in a cash up.
Yeah, fair point. JTK won here in preseason. He wins once again in the real season. He needs no introduction to a top step on the podium, but he's doing exactly what he needs to do in order to extend that championship lead. In the last 3 seasons, this season, last season, and the season prior, as they spray the champagne, he's won on 2 different occasions in each season.
My driver of the day is going to go towards Martinez. JTK, he's got enough from this race. He got a pole, a fast lap, and the win. He's had enough. He's going to give someone else a chance. Martinez, obviously you pick.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Martinez as well. Almost getting a V-carb under the podium in this tier for the first time in 4 seasons has to be credited while it can. See Davies, my second shout out for sure. Here are your final results, folks, on our screen now. See Davies, second place, getting Aston Martin onto the podium once again. He also got himself onto the podium for the first time as well. Credit is due where credit's due. We lost 6 drivers from this race. A bit disappointing. Not the best of driving standards. I feel like this happens too many times at Spa. It's really unfortunate. But, yeah, JTK Groggers extends that championship lead once again.
Perfect race from him, let's be honest. Exactly what he needed to do. This is why he's championship leader, and this is why his championship rivals can't afford to lose races, because this is what happens when they do.
Yeah, that is a fair point. I ask JTK if he has Xbox app before we invite him. Yes, so it looks like we will be just making sure if he has Xbox app, if he could do it through there, or we go to VC and do it.
I don't have any questions for him.
Do VC with you. Okay, alright. Well, I'll ask my 1 or 2 questions that I have for him.
I should ask him a really random question.
Well, I mean, he deserves the credit. I really think he's drove well. I mean, as we also saw for the final lap, Wavy seems to drive well as well in a lot of backmarker cars. It's good to see a lot of those guys have good races and really just take advantage when they could. Alpine scored out very big too as well. Patrick did good in his RPL Tier 2 return and also his last race for the Alpine Academy. Polo God still waiting to win once again. It's really unfortunate how he just got taken out. Not only once, not twice, but 3 times.
I'll be well, I wouldn't say I'm surprised. I don't want to shit talk anyone before Stuart report, but however, we all saw how Blizzard the fight with P6 was. Will it stay like that after the Stuart report? Hopefully, but you never know.
That is very true. George, there is one thing we know. That is JTK extending the championship lead once again and put on a phenomenal drive tonight in Spa. Once at the circuit, he took out his teammate and had an incident there. Well, actually, vice versa. Both teammates collided back when he was at Red Bull here a few seasons ago. Now in the Red Bull, you are standing on the top step of the podium, JTK. Tell me how it feels once again.
Yeah, it's great to be back here. Also great to be leading the championship. It was a phenomenal drive, honestly. I don't know how I stayed out of DRS after the safety car, because that was really tricky. The Ferrari was really quick, but I managed to recover some battery, and from there I just slowly eke the gap out and just, yeah, drive away basically. The start of the race, I don't know what happened to the McLaren. I think he got screwed over by the safety car. So that sucks, but yeah, it was all in control, honestly. It felt like a really balanced drive.
So, the second half of the season, last season, when you were battling J&T for the championship, is when things started to go down the drain. You're going into the second half of the season with a brand new teammate and a full-time teammate finally back, and also with the championship lead extending it today with both your rivals, Dill JG and John not here today. How does that make you feel in comparison to the spot you were in last season at this point, at the halfway point?
Well, it's tricky, honestly, because, yeah, sometimes you do get scared that you're gonna screw up or that you're gonna lose the lead. But I just try and look forward to the next race and just focus on that one, not really focus on the championship too much, so the pressure can't pile on. But yeah, I do know what happened last season. I am aware, and I'm trying to make it not happen again.
Congrats on the win. George, do you have any questions for our winner?
Were you concerned with the McLaren at the start of the race? Obviously, it was very close between the both of you. Were you concerned about a possible fight for the win? Obviously, his race fell away due to various strategy blunders. But do you care to comment on your race with him at the start and your thoughts when you saw him retire?
Yeah, I honestly don't know why he retired, but at the start of the race I saw he was on soft, I was on medium, so my plan was to just stick with the 2 guys in front. Then I noticed the Ferrari was really struggling for pace, so I overtook him and tried to stick with the McLaren. Then we traded DRS a bit, so we made it a 2-horse race, so there wouldn't be as much carnage, and I was on better tires, so I was quite comfortable, honestly. I thought if he had an undercut, I would have been able to catch up and pull away. So I think it was in control, but I was aware that there might be a fight for the win, yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I called it in the commentary box that as soon as we saw you starting on the mediums and the others around you on softs, I called it that it would be your race to lose, because it's with the nature of DRS where it opens after the first lap, it's so much easier to stick within DRS and really take away the advantage that the softer tyres would have. So yeah, I think it was a perfect race on your behalf. So yeah, congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're going to be very happy to have Mentucky back next week at Silverstone. You two were teammates last season at the Merck Academy, and I think it's much needed to have at least a full-time teammate back, and maybe some help for the second half of the season if you end up having any bad races, kind of like last season. You have more of the advantage that you need now.
Just gonna try and gain some points in the constructors. Try and win that championship.
That's true as well. Yeah, you can't forget about that one, because you guys, I believe, either just barely miss out on taking the lead or just barely take the lead over your rivals. So, yep, well done once again today. Congrats. Well deserved.
Yeah, thank you very much.
6th Tier 2 win, by the way. It puts you 5th all-time and currently the most without a title. Hoping to change that, I assume.
Not really a statistic you want to hear, right? But yeah.
Exactly.
It's still
Exactly.
I'm gonna change.
Well, I wanted that
this season,
record.
hopefully.
Bunky has that record for wins. I think you have that record, George, for podiums, I believe.
Oh, I want it for wins. Tier 2 comeback is on, boys. Well, actually, to be fair,
Yeah.
have you seen the contract I signed today? Yeah, baby.
I did. Tier 3 next season at Mercedes. Yeah.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
I mean, there's talks that if the champion gets banned, it's not saying I'm going to be champion, but if I do win the championship, I won't be obviously there. And also, yeah, so could be in Tier 3 next season, Tier 2 next season. Who knows?
You're gonna have a lot of times watching qualifying with me, probably, though.
Watching the Ryan Searles in Ferrari Masterclass, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what you're looking to do by constantly reporting Rapido and Invade. Get me in the Ferrari, huh? You want?
Rapido is a rat. Invade is sound.
See, but you still report Invade from time to time, though. I think you really wanted to see me in a Ferrari, huh?
I'm petty towards Invade, but it's
I get it.
It's in the
Report while you
spirit
can,
of
right?
the game. But Owen is a
Yes.
bastard. Fuck Owen.
Yeah, with all due respect, though, because
No, with no respect.
Well, for you, but yeah, I mean, driver versus admin point of view, of course.
No,
and commentator point of view.
No, he's sound Owen. He's
No difference for you.
a lot of respect for Owen. He's fast. He's just
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Let's say.
Yeah. Yep. But of course, Tier 3 is next week at Baku, F1 in Miami tomorrow, and F2 in Saudi Arabia. So lots of street circuits to come. Not for Tier 2 though, until Monaco, a few rounds from us. We have Britain next week. Home race for a lot of the drivers. That shall be interesting to see how that goes. Well, until next time, Ryan Searles, George Alp-Williams, your two commentators, Tier 3 drivers as well, by the way. Signing off. Have a good one. We will see you for the next event.
Goodbye.
And even tomorrow.
Yippee!